All right, you know what time it is. Neil Ratner Rock Doc here with a story. Richie Havens would have celebrated his birthday this past week, and today I thought I would tell you a few things about Richie Havens that you might not know. And as usual, a little background first. All right. So, Richie's grandfather was a Native American from the Blackfoot tribe who traveled with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Now, he left the show when the show was playing in New York. He got married and he settled the family in the Bed-Stuy section of Brooklyn. Now, as a youth, Havens began organizing his neighborhood friends into street corner doo-wop groups, which really formed Richie's musical foundation. All right. Now, at the age of 20, Havens left Brooklyn for Greenwich Village, which he saw as a place where he could express himself. Now, Richie had been there during the beatnik days of the 50s to perform poetry, and he'd end up staying all night to listen to folk music in the clubs. Now, once Havens picked up a guitar and started performing, he began attracting a lot of attention in village folk circles, and after cutting 2 records for a small label, he signed a management deal with Dylan's manager, Albert Grossman, who got Richie a major label deal, and Havens' album, Mixed Bag, was released in 1966 with 5 more albums to follow. Now, Richie, of course, was living up here in Woodstock for a while. I wasn't here at the time, but he famously in 1969 was booked to play the Woodstock Festival, and he was scheduled actually to be the 5th or 6th performer. But he and the other 2 musicians in his band arrived late the night before, and they stayed at one of the 2 motels, the promoters were providing, which was about 7 miles away from the festival. Now, by the time the event was about to begin, you all know the story. Virtually none of the other performers had arrived. The roads were blocked. Things were crazy. And Richie and his small band, with the help of a farmer's small helicopter, was the only performer to reach the stage ready to go when the event was ready to start. All right, now, again, you know the story. After 6 encores, there was still no other performers on the site. And the late Michael Lang, and I have to say, we were all very sad up here to learn about the death of Michael Lang. He did have cancer for about a year and a half. I didn't know him well. I didn't know that. So it was kind of shocking to hear that he had died. Woodstock legend. And I'm sure something up here is going to be named for him, as it should. At any rate, Michael Lang begged Richie to go out and play one more time. And Havens, what was he going to do? He reluctantly agreed, but he had no idea what to play. So he was stalling, playing a long intro, trying to figure out, what should I do? And it came to him. Looking out at all those young people, the word freedom. And as Havens looked out at that sea of people, he felt that he was actually seeing the freedom that that generation had been seeking. And of course, the song became a theme for not only Woodstock, but for youth everywhere. And it was a major turning point in Richie's career. Now, following the success of his Woodstock performance, Havens started his own record label, Stormy Forest, and he released Stonehenge in 1970. Later that year came Alarm Clock, which was Havens' first album to reach the Billboard Top 30 and included the George Harrison-penned hit single, Here Comes the Sun. I'm sure you've heard that. Richie did a few Beatles songs and he did them great. All right, now, during the 80s and 90s, Havens continued a world touring schedule and steadily released albums. The release of 1993's Resume, the best of Richie Havens, on Rhino Records, collected his late 60s and early 70s recordings, and in 82, he composed and performed a promotional slogan for NBC's 82-83 television season entitled, "We're NBC, just watch us now." He also performed slogans for CBS and ABC, and he recorded commercials for Amtrak, singing the slogan, "All aboard Amtrak." Do you remember that? And in 1995, he did a commercial for Coca-Cola. And he also did work for Maxwell House Coffee, Folgers, as well as singing the Fabric of Our Lives theme for the cotton industry. I'm sure a lot of you remember that. And in 1982, he appeared at Glastonbury, closing the show on the Sunday night. Havens kept releasing records and touring until 2012, when he retired from the music business due to health issues, and Richie died in 2013 at the age of 72. All right, the late, great Richie Havens. If you're not familiar with him, if you're only familiar with Woodstock, you should check out his album, Mixed Bag. It was great, man. It was great. It is great. Richie Havens, Mixed Bag. Check it out. That's my story. One more thing about Richie Havens. Part of his family still lives up here, his daughter and his grandson, who happens to be this great Hendrix-style guitar player. Not sure what he's doing since the pandemic, but he was out there playing around up here, and he was really good, is really good. So you could check him out sometime in the future. All right, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have more stories as we go through the week. Radio Woodstock, iHeartRadio, 3 o'clock Saturday and Sunday, This Week in Rock. I'll probably do a reading this week, and you know where to find me around the internet. All right, as I always like to tell you, always remember to keep on rocking, and I'll see you somewhere real soon. All right, bye for now.